right, welcome back to another episode of Inside Out Universe. Today I have a very, very special guest. I'm actually kind of nervous for today's episode because this person is actually the only person that's ever been on my podcast that knows more about podcasts than I do, which doesn't really say much, to be honest. But I have my friend Shahvar on today, or as we like to call him, Shahvar.
Shahvar Jean.
And he is what he describes himself as a multidisciplinary artist.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he's fucking dope. He does everything from, and by the way, today I found out you are also a dancer. So we're going to get into that too.
I wouldn't say I'm a dancer.
Yeah,
I'm just a guy who dances.
Yeah, really well occasionally and post it on Instagram. But anyways, he's a multidisciplinary artist. He helps multiple different people and on their podcast in terms of editing, filming, videography, photography. What do you not do?
I don't quit. I don't fail.
Fuck. Hi.
Hello.
That was so funny because we literally had a 3-hour conversation before we started filming, and now we're like, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
So nice to see you.
So wait, did I introduce you properly?
Yes, absolutely.
It's so hard to figure out what you do because you do everything.
Honestly, it's always been hard for me to introduce myself to people. For the longest time, people would be like, so what do you do? I'd be at like a function or something and be like, so what do you do? I'd be like, I do video, I do photography, and sometimes I make music, and then like, when people say just pick one thing and stick to it.
That's literally my life.
Right? I didn't know how to do that, so I just kind of I like to try different things ever since I was a kid. So I found a way to take all of those mediums and all of those things and combine it into one thing and move in one direction. Okay. And that all started with me learning the term multidisciplinary, right? Okay. So being able to put all those things in one box really helped me identify what it is that I do.
Multidisciplinary artist. I'd actually never, it makes sense, but I'd actually never used that term before myself. But today when you said that, I was like, that makes sense because you kind of do a little bit of everything. What's the little bit of everything? Can you explain?
Yeah. So I'd say my bread and butter is videography. But the fuel of it all is music. The thing that keeps me sane, the thing that keeps me
your music's
moving.
Dope.
Thank you.
I was kind of doing obviously research before I had you on because we've been friends for a while and we follow each other on Instagram, so I've seen your stuff throughout the years. But I was really diving in before the podcast, and I was like, yo, I really like this guy's music. I was like, thanks. I always knew you made music, but you moved on and started doing other things, so I never had a chance to dive into your music.
Right, yeah. My friends always yell at me because I make way more music than I release. My vault is just packed.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is it's more of the function of music, and the reason that it exists in my life is it's my therapy. I've never gone for therapy. I advocate for it. I tell people hey, maybe you should try therapy, but I'm a fucking hypocrite because I don't go for therapy. But that's because and this may be wrong, but that's because I feel writing raps and rapping is my therapy. Because ever since I was a kid, I feel I was exploring the darkest parts of myself doing so. Yeah. So, yeah. So
what, you don't want other people to hear that? Is that why you don't post it? Or is it the function for it is the therapy, so you don't feel a need to post it?
That, and also it's hard to release music. Just packaging it up and marketing it and all these things. It's the way I want to do it is just dropping the music and letting it be there. We
were talking about this before we turned on the camera, so I'm going to bring it up again so we can have the conversation now fully, because I was like, stop, we got to have this conversation on the podcast. I was explaining to you how I anything I ever associated with money in my life became a lot less fun to do. Mm-hmm. So even when I started this podcast and people would ask me what my goals were in terms of, not financially, but in terms of success, which most of the times people associate with finances, right? I don't have an answer because I have a very laxed approach to it. I just want it to be what it is without adding that component. Mm-hmm. And you said that you understood that. So why don't you do that with your music?
Why don't I incentivize it?
No, like don't think about it as something you need to package and something you need to do. I know it's hard because I understand your brain a little bit. And it's art. You work so hard on it. You want to like put out something perfect.
Yeah.
But that kind of sometimes prevents you from actually sharing it. And
I think I have an answer for that. What like in my early 20s, I'm 32 now. I'm an old man.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I was going to ask you how old you are, but I definitely thought we were around the same age.
You just hit me with a Jesus Christ.
What's that podcast? What's that podcast?
Damn.
Yeah, old as fuck. But is that
Kevin
what it
Hart
was?
and Don Cheadle. Damn. Just hit me with a Jesus Christ. I've never gotten that before.
Jesus Christ. No, to be honest, it was because you're so like cool.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I'm hip. I'm a hip old man.
Pretty much. Anyways, go on.
So in my early 20s, like I got caught in that kind of like whirlwind of how do I make a song blow up? How do I get streams? How do I get views? And I was dropping music on MySpace, by the way, like back in the day. But yeah, so like I was kind of caught in that whirlwind, and then like I was working in construction management. And at the time, I was still making music with my boys, and we were still shooting videos on like really shitty cameras. And I would sit in my office and edit videos and shit. And I realized after a few years of that every time I dropped a video on social media, somebody would ask me who made the video, right? And I'd be like, oh, I made the video, like, or my friend shot it and I edited it, or I shot it and my friend edited it, and I would get like a side client from that every single time, right? So then I took the leap. I quit my career job and I was like, I'm going to do this shit full time and see what happens. And the way that I marketed myself was making a song, making a video, putting it out, and then promoting the fact that I made the video, right? And every time, without fail, till this day, I've gotten a client from it. Right? So then I was like, okay, instead of chasing streams, I'll chase clients. And by making music and music videos and getting clients and making money out of it, I made it. You know what I mean? So like I created a delusion for myself where I was like, this is my version of making it in rap. Right. So then what happened after a while was I got so busy with the videography stuff that it wasn't even necessary for me to be dropping music and music videos anymore. So now I'm in a different place where like I'm really trying to like make music that speaks from a place that is hard to speak from, if that makes any sense.
Okay, wait, repeat that.
I'm trying to make music that means something to me.
Yeah,
okay?
All of your music that I've listened to does mean something. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah. So I'm working on a project right now that's like, yeah, just me just getting some shit off my chest.
So you are working on music?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're still doing it.
Yeah.
First of all, that whole thing you explained about the way you marketed and you started focusing on clients and stuff, that's sick. That's so brilliant. I've actually never thought about that. Are you hot? No, I'm sorry.
I am. It's not your fault. It's me. I'm wearing a hoodie and a hat.
But yeah, but that's sick. That's actually a great idea. But I'm not gonna lie, I do really enjoy your music. Actually, now that I think about it, you might be onto something. Because even in the past, when I would see your things on Insta and I would think it's dope, I always remembered the video.
Yeah.
You're like, got him.
Got him.
You know what I mean?
Trapped.
It was the song too, and the music industry is so saturated now.
The music industry is ugly as fuck.
Yeah.
It's just like gross, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I've had this conversation with Rocco before where I'm like, I could be wrong, but this is just how I feel. I feel like in order, like 6 a.m. and Rocco are like two of my closest friends that make music, and like I think they're amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the most difficult critic when it comes to especially people I love, you know? So it's not like I'm just biased about it. I think they're amazing. But I always tell Rocco, I'm like, if you ever do not pop off, I believe it's just because you're not built like that. And when I say built like that, I mean like I feel like you have to be a certain kind of individual to make it in that industry. And that's not necessarily a good thing.
Do you know how to explain that individual?
Are you trying to get me canceled? Is that what's happening?
You can cut it out.
No, like how I would describe it. Someone that does not have a strong moral compass.
Right.
Someone whose ego outweighs their morality. Someone who is somewhat narcissistic in certain aspects, because I believe that every profession attracts a certain type of personality. And that's just how it is, you know, like cops are a certain way, lawyers are a certain way. And I think that artists, especially like rappers, have very narcissistic, very like, you know, almost dark aspect to their personality that I don't enjoy.
That's what it was like when I was watching the Genius documentary. Did you watch that one? The Kanye one?
No.
It's like Kanye's documentary from the last, I think, 15 years.
I have to watch that. Is it on
More
Netflix?
than that. Yeah, it's really good.
I'm going to watch that tonight.
It's so good. It fired me up. But like that, the narcissistic self-belief that he has throughout that entire doc is actually admirable. Like
you like it?
I love it. And it's like it's not even.
So you disagree with me?
No, I think narcissism is terrible.
No. I'm saying at least I'm not saying all rappers are this way. I'm saying the ones who make it mainstream.
Right. I don't
like
disagree
that.
with you.
Okay.
No, I'm saying like when I watched the Genius documentary and I seen that level of narcissism, I don't have that. Personally, like I don't think.
But you wish you did.
If I'm a narcissist and I'm not sure of it, then whatever. But I don't think I am.
Well,
I don't think I'm a narcissist.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. If I'm a narcissist, well, then go fuck yourself.
Well, I was watching it and I was like, yo, like that type of self-belief is powerful.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. We'll dive into more what you mean by self-belief, but I've always had a difficult time with Kanye because there's moments where I'm like, okay, I kind of get him, and then there's moments where I'm like, you lost me. And I feel like everyone has that relationship with him. But like, for example, one thing that he's been on so much lately is I learned that if you're in a place where people aren't listening, then don't talk. Don't talk to them. Don't talk to people who aren't listening to you. Like, that's his new thing, right? Okay. That he keeps saying. And he says this to almost elicit like a response from the other person to be like, okay, I'm listening. But he never listens. He's never listening to anything anyone is saying. He even says this. He's like, I only listen to what kids have to say. He's a text.
The youngins. Yeah. He was talking about being in a room with like CEOs or something. And he's like, I only listen to the youngins. Yeah. No, I mean, he's a textbook narcissist, right? Like, it's like, I could never be friends with Kanye. When I see like I've watched so many clips of him. I laugh and like, I enjoy his content. I love his music. I could listen to his music all day, but like just seeing him as a person and his personality and stuff, there's no way I could be friends with Kanye West. You know, if he's just in my friend circle, there's no way.
What do you mean when you say self-belief? You say he has a certain amount of self-belief that I like.
Oh, it's like when he first came out, he was known as a producer. Right? But he was like, I'm a rapper and I'm going to make it as a rapper. I'm going to win Grammys as a rapper. And everybody's like, bro, stick to producing. Right? And then he did everything that he said he was going to do with rapping. Then he did everything that he said he was going to do with fashion. And it was like, when he was saying it, if I was in the room when he was first saying it, I'd be like, bro, this guy again. Right? Like, even I'd be like, this guy is off his rockers, you know?
Yeah.
But then 10 years later, you see that he's done the thing that he's so delusional about, right? That is what I mean, that it's fascinating to me. Do I think it makes him a good person? No.
But what's the line, though? What's the line between where do you cross the boundary from self-belief into narcissism?
Kanye.
So then that's not self-belief. Because, okay, the same example that you give of like people told him he couldn't do it, 50 Cent.
Right.
Everything people told him, people said, "Yo, you're a rapper. Stick to rapping." He was like, "No, I want to make movies. I
Right,
want to do
right.
this." And now he's doing incredible things in fields that nobody from his background has any business being in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because he was a rapper. Like, that's what he was. But he did it. But he wasn't narcissistic about it. That to me is self-belief versus Kanye to me is narcissism.
I agree with that.
Because
That's a good
50
point.
Cent made it by listening to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you ever listen to any of the interviews 50 Cent does, he's always giving credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
He's always talking about the things he's learned. He's always, like, versus when you listen to Kanye talk, it just sounds like it's just entertaining.
Yeah.
You don't actually learn anything from it. You're just like, oh.
I'd say I've learned from Kanye personally.
no.
I'd say I have. But like it's on both spectrums, right? It's what to do and what not to do as well. There's you learn a lot of what not to do with Kanye,
absolutely.
right? 50 Cent is also like a 1 in a million. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Like,
I love him.
he's just solid from beginning to end. He's been solid.
I know.
Right? His music has been on point. Business moves on point. Interviews and the things that he says on point. His relationships and the way that he's interacted with them on point. His beefs on point. There isn't.
He's just he's
1 in a million.
Yeah, it's crazy. Wait, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could choose one, like, famous person or celebrity or known person to be your friend, you're like, not like, oh, you want to go out and get this person to be your friend, but like put that person in your friend group. They already are your friend. Who would you choose?
Cole.
J. Cole?
Mm-hmm.
You'd want him to be in your friend group?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
How do I say this? So I I have a funny story about how I found Cole. You remember Hot New Hip Hop?
Yeah.
So like I would check Hot New Hip Hop every Friday.
You're
right?
so old. You're such an old man. Jesus.
Yeah. So I would check Hot New Hip Hop every Friday, and I would download whatever, even like rappers that I didn't recognize, and then I would burn them onto a CD.
Oh my God, this is getting
I
dark.
burn it onto a vinyl and play it on my vinyl player.
On a cassette in your car.
Yeah, so I burned it onto a CD. I played it in my car, right? So I downloaded a bunch of songs, and then I heard this one track, and I was like, "Yo, Bow Wow spin."
Bow Wow.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Yo, when did Bow Wow get so fucking good at rapping?" You know, I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, "Guy's maturing. His voice is getting sick." And then my boy came in the car. I was like, "Yo, check out this new fucking Bow Wow song." And we're fucking listening to Bow Wow, whatever. And then like, I go to look up this Bow Wow song to see if there's a music video for it. Turns out it's this guy named J. Cole, and it's a song called Grown Simba, right? I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? So then I checked out his warm-up mixtape, and then
Warm-up was crazy.
Yeah, just fell in love with his music, right? Yeah. Friday Night Lights came out, immediately became my favorite rapper, right? Mm-hmm. It's just something about the things that he talks about, like his struggles and the things that he's been through, that hits, and it feels like I'm talking to my boy, and he's talking to me.
It resonates with you.
It resonates, and like there's times where like I'm writing, I'll write like a whole verse, and then Cole will put out a new song, and I'm like, this motherfucker bit my rhymes.
That's so funny.
mean?
Yeah.
And like that, it's something about like whatever like idea pool that he's picking out of when it comes to creativity. I feel like we're sharing that idea pool together, right? And then even when he's like talking on interviews and podcasts and stuff, which is very rare, just hearing him talk, he just seems like a real humble, chill person.
I'm gonna play this video back when he gets accused of child.
It's never gonna happen. I will put my bank account on it. J. Cole will never get.
To be honest, every
accused.
time anybody asks me anything about celebrities, I always say, assuming that what we know is true.
Right.
This is my answer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like nowadays you just never know. But for me, that answer is 50 Cent.
But who has surprised? Like when it comes to like allegations and things coming out and truths coming out about people, what has surprised you?
Which ones have surprised me? I think there has been. I'll think about that in the back of my head while I answer the other part of this question. Is There's been a few people that surprised me. I can't put my finger on it right now, but for the most part, it wasn't the people that surprised me. I always knew that Hollywood was shady overall.
Mm-hmm.
It was the depth of the situation and how interconnected these things were.
Mm.
You know, because for example, now we're talking about it, the Diddy thing.
Mm-hmm.
That shit dates back to 1991. I wasn't even born.
Mm-hmm.
How have people been quiet for that long?
Right.
You know what I mean? So like it gets you thinking, who's involved that's protecting these people? How long has this been going on for? How many other people are in on it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it's the depth of it that mainly surprises me.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And there has been people that like Ashton Kutcher. That one surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like a decent guy. He
Mm-hmm.
talked about the planet a lot. I enjoyed hearing about it, you know?
Yeah.
Leo, that one surprised me.
What did Leo do? Like he's dating younger girls and leaving them when they turn.
Apparently he was at the Diddy parties and
okay.
these are all allegations, by the way, guys.
Everybody was at the Diddy parties.
Were you at the Diddy parties?
Listen,
Your voice got a little deeper there.
if you got invited to a Diddy party in the
I would not go.
In the early 2000s,
I would not go. I'm telling you right now, I'm being on. You know what's funny? I was talking to my friend today about this, about how when I was in Chicago, I got invited to go to, I'm not going to say who, but to like these really well-known basketball players like parties and the yacht parties.
Mm-hmm.
And from every fiber of my being, I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go. It was a sunny day. They're going on a yacht. It's a whole bunch of people that I would love to meet. To me, it's just something that's like, people like that don't tend to care about people generally, especially people they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't ever want to get caught up in a situation where I'm surrounded by people who don't care about me.
Okay, so let me give you a scenario. You meet 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are homies, right? For like 2 weeks, you're in Miami. You've been there for a month. You've met 50 for 2 weeks, and go, yo, man, don't go on a Diddy party.
Don't do 50 like that,
we're going to a Diddy party. Yo, we're gonna go listen to some. You're not gonna go with him?
I'd be like, is Wayne there? Because if Wayne's there, I'm pulling up.
Because I think people are assuming you're going to a Diddy party because you got invited by Diddy.
No, okay.
But now you're gonna get invited by Jamie Foxx. You're getting invited by Kevin Hart.
Okay, let me clarify this.
Mm-hmm.
This is in no way to say that I think that people who went to those parties are stupid or they knew what was going on or
Right.
whatever. I have anxiety. I have extreme social anxiety.
Mm.
So I wouldn't go most places. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, something like that is especially not going to happen just because I'm probably going to shit myself.
Right,
you know
right,
what I
I
mean?
hear you.
So it's not from that standpoint, but maybe I push myself to go.
Right.
Because like, for example, I think of my friends who are artists. When they hear that even a distant somebody of OVO is somewhere, they go because they're like, we want a network.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, how easy would it be if that person was like, all right, I'll hear your shit out. Come to an after party.
Come to the after party. You did all this fuck shit. You were really drunk, and it just so happened that they had cameras there, and now you're blackmailed, and you can't see nothing.
It's so horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's weird, bro.
That no part of that situation surprised you.
What? The Diddy thing?
Because you acted like you're like, man, I've been known these people are fucked up.
Okay, I didn't know.
This fucked up.
I didn't know he was putting fucking tranquilizer and baby oil. Like that's crazy. Like I didn't know he was putting shit in baby oil.
The tunnels under his house.
The tunnel. Okay, no, that shit didn't surprise me. To be honest, Diddy has always been weird to me.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I swear on everything. People love to take credit for shit I say. My friend group always does this. So I'm gonna say this right here, right now. For years, I told Rocco and my friends, I was like, "There's 3 people I don't trust. I don't trust Diddy. I don't trust Diddy in the entertainment industry.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
Obviously I don't trust my own fucking dad. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people I don't trust generally, but in the entertainment industry, I don't trust Diddy. I don't trust Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
I never trusted Jay-Z just intuitively.
Yeah.
So much that I refuse to listen to his music. Okay? And I don't care what anyone says. Oh, it's just allegations, whatever. I'm never going to change my mind on that. Even if it turns out that these things are not, he doesn't get convicted or whatever. And the third person for me who nothing has happened yet, but I'm saying it now, is Nas.
Really?
Nas, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion other than just loving his music. Like, I like Nas's music. Growing up as a kid, I always liked his music a lot. I don't really have an opinion on Nas in like as a person at all. But Diddy, nothing really surprised me. You know what it was? It was when I found out that like MGK I might be wrong about this. MGK got signed to Bad Boy, and he was like a year into his contract, he was still taking a bus because he hadn't been paid. You know what I mean? For like the longest time.
MGK?
MGK.
Who was he signed to?
Bad Boy.
And he hadn't gotten paid?
Yeah, I might be wrong about that.
Okay, guys, this
like,
is not a very... Nobody does research here, all right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly for the entire duration of this podcast.
I heard something about like Diddy not paying his artists, and like immediately I was just like, yeah, fuck Diddy. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's a thing with him still, or if that's even true. But I caught bad vibes off him, and I just...
Yeah. The music industry, to me, is just a bunch of gangs, and just, like, literally, essentially, it's what typical street gangs would be, but except at, like, a higher ratio, at a higher scale. Because that's literally what it is. It's 4 gangs, different record labels, just beefing each other and producing idiots. Mm-hmm. So, to me, I never trusted any of them.
Who's the realest artist to you? Like, who?
50.
50?
I love 50.
Is that your answer to the question that you asked me?
Like, yeah, I told you. 50.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 50 Cent. I love 50 Cent. I especially like him because he never revisited the things that he went through in the past. Yeah. And I like that. Yeah. A lot of artists, especially rappers, make a lot of money promoting the hood and this lifestyle and this whatever. 50 Cent was like, man, people who actually grew up in the hood would never want to go back to that shit. It's true. So he never revisited that. And I appreciate that. Yeah. Because everyone's like, oh, no, you show love, this, and that. He does show love. He's giving a bunch of people a bunch of jobs. He's, you know what I mean? He keeps his friends close. He keeps his family close, you know? But other than that, he doesn't have any kind of real obligation towards anybody else other than to just be a good citizen, if you will.
Yeah, he's sick. He's a sick guy.
I really like Lil Wayne too, but the reason why I don't say that with my whole chest is because Wayne could be up to some shit.
Wayne could have did some shit on some drugs that he didn't even know. Yeah. If a man can't remember his own lyrics, he doesn't remember his own past.
Wayne was a little too good on that skateboard, you know? I don't know where he learned that, but shit, I'm not trying to find out.
No, I think Wayne's just been chilling. I think he's just been chilling.
I don't know. I can't say that with my whole chest.
Yeah.
But I do really like Wayne. He's in my top 5 in terms of like music that I used to listen to.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he's great. I really like, you know, the thing that you talk about self-belief with Kanye? Yeah. I like that about, it's entertaining to me when Wayne does it.
Entertaining is a good word. Yeah. When it comes to that.
Yeah, use that next time. Yeah. You're welcome. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, by the way, at the beginning of this podcast, we decided that we would film half of the podcast and then we were gonna hear you. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. I feel like I've already been asking you questions and it's already kind of like...
It's okay. I'll ask you questions too. I'll
but it's already kind of like a split podcast.
You think so?
Yeah.
But I want you to do your own intro.
Okay.
I want you to like come in hot.
So hold on. You got to prepare for your intro and do all that.
Was that prepared to you? I was like, my friend Shahvar.
Okay.
He's a multidisciplinary artist.
Where did you find that word?
Yeah, I was like, what is this? Oh yeah, but before, okay, so wait, let me finish that thought. I'm having way too much fun. We were gonna do half of this podcast as me being the host, and then half of the podcast as Shahvar being the host, because he's really good at podcasts apparently. My guy came in, changed my whole setup and said, we're going to do it this way. I said, all right.
I made a suggestion.
Yeah, sure you did.
All right.
Sure you did.
You know what? Let's change it back.
We change it back to what?
We're going to change it back to what? No. Oh, what happened?
Watch, everybody's going to comment and be like, he saved you. The other ones were garbage. Should we have another shot?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I always hear people... Obviously, whenever you're doing anything, people who have no business doing it will give you criticism.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're so good at it, why don't you do it, bitch? You know? If you have so many ideas, why don't you do it?
Yeah, it's because they see the front end of it. They don't see the back end of it.
But a lot of people have been like, you should ask your guests questions. Like, have set questions to ask them. To be honest with you, I'm good at taking criticism, actually, despite what it looks like, because I'll never admit it. I don't like that. I like to see the conversation. I'd like to see where the conversation goes on its own.
Yeah.
And just kind of roll from there. Because if I prepare things, then all I'm going to be thinking about throughout the interview is when should I throw that question in.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good to make have your intention. Like, if you want it to just be straight up casual and natural throughout the whole thing, that's good. And then but I also think that the other side of it will come naturally anyways. Like,
What?
Eventually you'll have guests that are gonna come on because you want to talk to them about a certain
But
thing.
I do, like, for example, like, I have a general idea, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, my idea with you generally was I wanted to remember how when you were here helping me with the cameras, we started talking about like having unconventional jobs by Persian family standards.
Yeah.
You know, and we started talking about that. I was like, I really want to talk about that with Shahvar more, because I feel like now that there's been a shift in everything, and people are finding more jobs online and as being influencers and doing these like social media related things and freaking, you know, basically the virtual world. You know, I was like, parents are having a really hard time understanding that and coming to terms with that. So I was like, oh, it would be cool to have Shahvar on to talk about that and also other things. But I don't want to narrow your whole existence down to that one conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But notice how I plugged that in. So
You did plug it in. I think that's what happens. Yeah. Ultimately, you make your own decision with your podcast. Do whatever the fuck you want, yo.
Yeah, I'm happy.
But was that a question?
Yeah, it was a question. I do want to talk about that with you. Wait, should we take the shot before we get into that?
Cheers.
Was that a question? I was what we call in the legal field. I was priming you. I was prepping you for what
I don't like that. I don't like that term. Don't tell me you're priming me. I don't like it. I feel uncomfortable.
My ass hurts.
No, Diddy.
But no, I do want to talk about that a little bit. So for the audience, because I know a little bit, not too much, I also want to know more. You were previously working in a different field, and then you started to do what you're doing now, and that wasn't perceived as well as you'd want it to be by your family.
Yeah, understandably so as well. So like I after high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and initially I wanted to take a year off after high school so I can explore different things.
It's a really good idea, by the way.
I thought so too. But actually something happened in the last year of high school that shook the world around me. And basically, like, because I grew up with my mom, my older brother, and my older sister. My dad passed when I was a kid. So my brother was my father figure, right? And when this thing happened in high school, he's like, I don't care what the fuck you do, but you got to get the hell out of this city. There's too much turmoil around you and in your social group and all this stuff. You got to go to college. You got to fucking pick something. I don't care what it is. And it's this year. You're not taking a year off, right? That was the one time in my life my brother did that. Like he was pretty lenient throughout my life and worked as a really good guardian and a father figure. But that was the one time when he was like, no, you don't have a choice. I'm not going to let you do this. You're getting out of the city. Right. So then like I just chose what he did, which was architecture, which is what my dad did as well. So I took architectural technology at Humber for college, and I dropped out, but I ended up through my brother getting a job in the field as like a clerk on site. And I kind of worked my way up in 4.5 years in that field. And I became an assistant site super in high-rise construction. And the whole time, I was still making music. I was still filming music videos. I actually do like videos on site at nighttime and shit like that. And then like edit the music videos in my office. And yeah, so then I quit suddenly. I quit that job out of nowhere because I was having a bad day, but I was building up to it by doing research about what it would be to own your own freelance videography business, or like Amazon drop shipping or whatever, like just self-sustaining businesses, and being an entrepreneur. And fucking, so yeah, I took the leap, and it was hard as fuck, and everybody was like, you're an idiot because you were a year away from making 6 figures, you know, in your field, and you went to be broke shooting videos of artists and like gangster rappers. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? And understandably so. Like, who the hell is gonna understand that? But I painted this delusion out for myself that, you know what, no matter what, I'm gonna make this work. And I'd say it took about 4 years before it actually started to work.
What does your brother think now?
Oh, he's super proud.
I bet he is.
Yeah. Well, he was never like, I could just feel it with him. He wasn't very that's a lie. There was one situation where he was like, bro, I love what you're doing. You're chasing your dreams, but it's clearly not working out for you. You can't even fix your fucking car and it's broken down. Go find your job. Go find a job. My friend's looking for an assistant. Da-da-da-da-da. And then I was like, I was in round 2 of Russell Brand's editing competition, right?
Yeah.
And like, I wasn't going to be like, I'm in an editing contest and I'm going to win this shit, right?
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm doing some things and I believe in it. And I think it's going to work out.
See you on the other side.
See you on the other side pretty much. And then fucking a week later, I work for Russell Brand. I won the contest. I work for Russell Brand, and he's like, holy shit, you know? So, yeah, I wasn't trying to throw any shade to my bro, but
I know that for the most part, because I feel like, especially if you're like Persian, I can only speak for Persians because I see myself and my friends, but I feel like it does come from a place of love.
yeah.
Because a lot of parents and older siblings do that to their younger siblings or their kids, of like telling them, hey, like, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer. You're always going to have a job. Like, you're going to be set for life. You're going to be, I'm like, not with ChatGPT. I take 3 weeks to write a brief. This motherfucker wrote it in 3 minutes. Like,
Yo, and it's also like with Persian parents, it's like when your auntie or your uncle call from home.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, what's Payam doing?
He's
oh,
a
what's
rapid.
Yeah, my mom's going to be like, Payam, yeah. داره ویدیو میسازه, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not a good look for them, so they want to be able to be like, oh yeah, he just got his MD and da-da-da-da-da and all this shit, and they want to be proud to speak about you, and it's like
I
a
get
selfish thing, but you know, you kind of gotta break that curse to chase your dreams, especially.
To be honest, this topic kind of hits very close to home for me because, you know how you said your brother wasn't very vocal? I had 3 very vocal people in my life constantly telling me that what I was doing was wrong. So my dad was very vocal about not liking what I was doing when I was in music or anything like art related, you know, and my brothers were very, very vocal about it too. I have 2 older brothers. And I remember when I first started making music, I was like, oh, I love this. This feels good. Like, I'm good at it, you know, and it's like, it comes naturally. And I remember my first freestyle that I posted that went like viral. I got like, I don't know, 100,000 views on it or something like that. My brother texted me and he was like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I don't claim to understand what you're doing, but I don't agree with what you're doing. I've told you before, you don't seem to care. So from now on, you don't have a brother anymore. Like, do what you want to do.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And this is my brother who's like my older brother. And like, I didn't really have a good relationship with my dad growing up. So he was like that father figure to me. So saying that to me, like, yeah, like now when I bring it up to him, he's like, I just wanted what's best for you. I'm sure he would say that. I've never had that conversation with him. But at the, like, he doesn't understand, or people don't understand, which is why I wanted to have this conversation with you, how damaging that could be to someone's, like, both, like, mental health, their relationship with you, and also just, like, their, like, identity, you know, because after that, what I did is I didn't stop making music because I loved it. But what changed was that I started feeling shitty about it. So I was still making it, but I just felt shitty about it. And then it strained my relationship with my family because I was like, you guys don't really want to hear me out. You don't want to get to know me. You don't want to know who I am and what I'm doing, or try to at least understand it before you develop an opinion about it.
Right.
You know? And then also, like, because, like, that example that I just gave you was present in every aspect of my life, I became a kind of person that was always full of self-doubt. Because every time I tried to do something, in the back of my head, I could literally hear their voices being like, what are you doing? What is this? Like, this is not right. Like this, that. No matter what I did, you know? So when I got to the peak of my career as a lawyer and I graduated and I got offered a really, really good job, I didn't want to take it, you know, because I had all these, like, things in my head that were just, like, making me full of doubt and making me not feel right. So I was like, okay, I need to take some time to myself to figure out what voice in my head is me and like which one is all these other people that is not even really me.
Yeah.
And
I hear
it
that.
led me here. You know?
That's fascinating.
So that was important for me to talk to you about that.
Yeah. So, like, for me, my mom was she was a hairdresser. And, like, I feel like it came from her being artistic. Like, when she explained to me when she was a kid, she would, like, make dolls out of different things and, like, create hair and, like, design the hair for herself and all this stuff. So, and she was also a poet. Like, she would write poems all the time, right? So when it came to me rapping and stuff, my mom was very supportive. And she always believed in it and supported it. But obviously there was always that shade of, like, okay, time to get serious. Like,
yeah, and you sense it. I mean?
You sense it. So then my brother is actually the reason I started rapping when I was 6 years old, because him and his friends had a rap group, right?
That's so cool.
So, like, him and his friends would get together in the room and they'd be writing, and then I was writing. I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this, you know? So I was writing, and then his friend came over and he's like, what are you writing over here? And I remember the verse, right? And then he's like, try this. And then I remember he made me write, soon they will be running when they see us coming, no one that we gunning, right? And just the way that made me feel, connecting the double time, like, I was like,
I
like,
love this,
my heart opened up, and I'm like, I could do that, you know? So then, like, I feel like after a while, my brother felt like he was responsible that I was this fucking rapper, and I was lost in this delusion of trying to, like, become a rapper. So then I kind of felt his resistance at times of, like, you got to get on the right fucking track, bro, you know? But it's really hard for me to describe that thing that I was describing before, where it was like, I'm rapping to get clients. You know, that's kind of like how I make it work and how I justify making the music, right? Yeah. It's hard to describe that to people.
You'd have to make a fucking 50-page PowerPoint presentation for your Persian family.
Yeah, yo. So, but then, like, there were times where my brother would like show a different side and be like, how can I support you in this? Is there anywhere I can invest some money? And you know what I mean? Like, he would actually, but then at the same time, I felt the doubt there too of, like, is he going in this weird, like, direction where he's just going to be this crazy person who thought he was going to be a rapper? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah, you feel it. Yeah. But just imagine if you can feel those subtle hints, what it's like to have, like, because it happens all the time. It happened to me, and I hear other people's stories too of, like, their parents just being openly unsupportive. And it's one thing to be unsupportive, but it's a whole other thing to just, like, rain on somebody's parade. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That must have been really hard for you, yo.
Yeah, it was really hard. And to this day, it's like, it's something that, like, is so hard for me to, like, I'm still struggling with it to this day, you know? But then but then again, it's something that's so like ingrained into like our culture, I feel like, that even if I were to sit down here and be like, listen, this is why this fucked me up so much and whatever, they wouldn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was the youngest, so I had to hear it from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't like, oh, by the time the youngest grows up, they could do whatever because the oldest already paved the way. No, my brothers went the conventional way.
Right.
They did everything the way that by the book,
Right.
you know? But I was always the one that was like, you know, like I was always, but the thing is with me, like my personality is so polarizing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I always just wished not that they would agree with me, but that they would try to understand me.
Yeah.
You know, at least make an effort
Mm-hmm.
to understand me. That's the part that bothered me. And to be honest, if anything comes out of this conversation from me personally, in my opinion, and I always say this to my brothers, and I know that they're not listening, or at least they're not hearing me, but I hope that one day they'll actually hear what I'm saying when I say this. For all we know, we only have one life. As far as everybody knows, we only have one life. And for whatever reason, even if it's out of the kindness of your heart because you care about somebody, to try and dictate somebody else's life for them is such a big like responsibility, and it's so wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I get one life, you get one life, you know what I mean, for as far as we know, right? And for somebody else to want to dictate that for you, like, that's not fair.
100%.
You know, it's not fair. Even if it's out of the kindness of your heart, I deserve to go on my own journey and figure my own life out the same way as everybody else.
Yeah. I think our society, like one thing that really bothered me about our society is that they make it feel like it's so wrong for you to fail, right?
Yeah.
Like school is like, you better pass this thing, you better succeed in this thing, or you failed, and you got to do it all over again, or you lose on the whole semester, or whatever the case may be. When the reality of life is, you should be failing every single fucking day, because that's where all the lessons come from, right? The lessons don't come from you sitting in your room and listening to some guy talk, because that's school.
Yeah.
Right? Lessons come from you trying something, failing, and then being like, wait, why did that work out? Oh, maybe if I try this thing. Oh, okay, now it works.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like, yeah, when people see you fail, that people that care for you see you like try something and not succeed, not make $1 million. Also, another thing about rapping is like this misconception that success in rap means that you have a net worth of $5 million. Even that is considered a failure. You know what I mean? Like, for the longest time, like my guilty pleasure of an artist is Hopsin. Right?
Yeah,
Growing up,
dope.
I always loved Hopsin.
Illmind 7.
Illmind
My favorite.
Yo, all the Illminds went in. So like people would be like, oh, Hopsin, like what's he doing? I'd be like, yeah, he has a net worth of $2 million. He's making $2 million. He has $2 million in his bank account from nothing to $2 million as an independent rapper. He has no strings attached to any labels, no nothing. He's doing his thing. I think that's successful.
Yeah.
If a plumber had $2 million, you'd think that plumber is fucking successful, right?
Yeah.
But we have this like misconception that, oh, rappers got to have 10, 20, 30 million dollars to be able to flaunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard to convince people that there's a way to be a musical artist and make it. You know what I mean? So like having
true.
that support system behind you is rare. But when you have it, it's so special.
Yeah.
So like, I do want to say like, shout out to all the people that just rode with me. Even if you didn't believe in it, that rode with me and just like, supported, that showed up to the music videos.
It means so much.
You know what I mean?
It means so much more than what people may even think. It's just the little things that matter, you know, like who pushes to be in the front when you're on stage, you know, who stays till the end of your set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who reposts everything you post, you know what I mean? Who likes your stories that you post about your music? Like those little things. I'm very grateful that I had a very supportive group of friends that did that for me. But in my life, like whatever I do, I think because family is so important to me, like everything that happens to me in my life, I try to translate it into some lesson that I could teach my kids in the future. That's kind of how I orient my life, if that makes sense.
That's a beautiful perspective. Yeah.
It's just, everybody needs something to orient themselves. And for me, it's that. And the lesson that I got out of this experience that we're talking about is I want my kids to learn through the natural consequences of their actions. And my job as a parent is to make sure that no consequence is great enough for you not to recover from. That's my job. You know what I mean? So I'm on the sidelines making sure you don't go too far off, but I still give you enough space so that you could make mistakes that have consequences, but the consequences are things you could recover from. You know what I mean? And to me, that's really important. Like even a kid, I watch things like this on TikTok and it makes my heart melt. Well, when I was a kid, and I'm sure maybe you have a similar experience, a lot of my Persian friends I know do, when you mess something up as a kid, they'd be like, oh my God, why did you mess it up? Why did you do that? I told you not to do that. But I watch these TikToks and I love them, of like this kid like dropped like the bag of sprinkles on the floor and they were making cupcakes, right? And I know my parents and my dad in that situation would have been yelled at me. But his mom was like, all right, well, you spilled the sprinkles. Now you don't have any sprinkles for your cupcake, you know? And the kid was so bummed out, but bummed out at the incident and not at his mom, you know? And I'm sure that kid next time is going to make sure to grab that bag properly so that he has sprinkles for his cupcake.
Yeah.
You know? And that's kind of how I think everything is in life. Like you have to give people enough room to try on new identities and to try on new journeys and whatever, and to find themselves, and without going too far off the deep end, you know?
I hear that 100%.
That's just my...
You said something earlier that that I resonated with in a different way. And it was that like every time you went to go make music after that conversation with your brother, you had that voice in the back of your head, right? I had that with criticism, like in general criticism from like my friends or the community or like people in the comments or whatever the case may be. It, as much as it shouldn't, what a younger me would let it get to me. You know what I mean? Like, and it was a difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. So like for me, the difference between those two is destructive criticism is when somebody just shits on what you're doing, and then constructive is like, why don't you try it like this, right? 90% of the time I got destructive criticism and it's like, nah, that ain't it, bro. It's like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then like when I would go to make music after like 5 years of that, I would pretend like it didn't affect me. I would pretend, I'd be like, fuck them, they don't get it, haters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like I would go to make music and I would find myself
doing that to yourself.
I would find myself trying to finish the song from all these different perspectives. And
then you just can't even...
It's not even my song anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I hate the fucking music. And then I'm so tied to the result now that I'm not enjoying the process.
You know what's sad? That was me with my whole life. I got to a point where I was like, my whole life is not my own. You know what I mean? No decision I've ever made was because out of the purity of my soul, you know? And some of them were things that maybe I still would have made that decision had I even made it on my own, but I needed to take time off to decipher what's what, you know? And that's really hard. Like I always tell my brother, because like, you know, I know they love me and I know that they want to help, but they're like, what do you want us to do? Like, we know we've been through these things, like whatever, this and that. And I always like think about it and I'm like, what do I want them to do? You know, like what would I want them to do differently? And it's like, my thought is like, if you're going to criticize me from the inside out. Inside out.
Yeah.
From the inside out, like be on my team and criticize me the same way as someone who's a part of my team in my company would say, hey guys, these sales haven't been doing well, this thing, I think we should do this differently. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not as an outsider, like a hater.
Right. Constructive.
You know what I mean?
And
to exactly, which is what I'm saying. It's exactly what you're saying. I conceptualize it in terms of inside out and outside in.
I like
you know
that.
What I mean?
Yeah,
and like, try to listen to what I'm doing. Try to come into my world. Yeah. And then help me.
With compassion.
Exactly. Yeah. Help me. If I'm doing something wrong, help me understand why. Let's do it better together. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, but then a lot of people, like, in order for them to be able to do that, they have to understand, like, what is right or wrong and why do they think something's wrong. You know what I mean?
There's no
like,
right or wrong.
there
That's
is no
the
right or
point.
wrong, especially with art, right? Like a lot of people think like, oh, that's whack. It's like, yeah, but me and you don't even listen to the same artists. I think your artists are whack to me, you know, but you don't like my artists, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's just understanding. Yeah, like just saying what you're saying in a different way, I guess, is like understanding why I'm doing the thing. Why am I doing the thing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the first question. Why am I doing this thing? Is it to blow up? Is it to get $100 million off of this one song? Yeah, is that the goal? Then okay, maybe you can step in as some executive business CEO and tell me what I'm doing wrong. Or am I making this song or whatever it is because it helps me understand myself?
Yeah.
You know, it allows me to express some part of my shadow that I could not possibly understand without exploring that aspect of myself through the art.
Yeah.
If that's what I'm doing, and I tell you that's why I'm doing it, how could you tell me I'm wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
agree. I 100% agree. I do like a similar thing. I preface like things that I say to, like, I found myself doing this, and then at first I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe it makes people uncomfortable to tell me the truth. But then I realized, I was like, no, it actually makes people confront me with more compassion. Is when I'm sharing an idea with somebody, I'll say, before I tell you what the idea is, I just want you to know what this means to me. Okay? And then I'll tell them what it means to me. And then I'll be like, so if you're gonna criticize me, please criticize me. I want it, because this means a lot to me. That means I care and I want it to be good. So criticize me, but criticize me with compassion. Just know what this means to me. You know what I mean? And I think that's important too.
100%.
Are you gonna interview me or what? Wait. For the sake of the people who said you need to have questions to ask your guests, I prepared a list of questions.
What the fuck?
What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal. What is my favorite animal? Oh, I like panthers.
I like piñatas. I don't know why that came to. You like
But it's
panthers?
like
What kind? Like black?
What's the common piñata? Is it a llama?
I think so. It's an alpaca.
It's an alpaca. That's what we're hitting. We're hitting alpaca. So you like alpacas?
I do like alpacas because of Ali, but my favorite animal is a crocodile.
It is a crocodile.
Yeah. Yours is a panther.
Yeah.
What kind of panther? Pink panther?
Honestly, it's a tie between a black panther and a tiger. Yeah. Tigers are cool. I like cats. Cats are like, they fascinate me. They're so in flow all the time.
Yeah. Do you know how disappointed I was as a child to find out that there's no such thing as a pink panther?
You thought there was a pink panther?
Well, we all thought Santa Claus was real. Why is that so far-fetched?
Yo, I remember. Do you remember when you found out Santa Claus isn't real?
I think my dad just told us right off.
But do you remember where you were when you found out?
No. Do you?
Yeah. Yo,
are you traumatized?
Yo, my brother, he was just having a bad day. I remember he was having a bad day. He was pissed off about something.
How old were you?
I was probably like 7 or 8. Damn, I just made a connection right now. But fuck it. So I was like, I was sitting in his room and he was putting on a ring or something and he was just facing the wall. And I'm like, Amir, is Santa Claus real? And he just pauses for a really long time and he goes, no.
Really?
And I just didn't say anything. I was like,
in
my head I was like, thought so, you know?
Yeah.
And then I wrote a rap about killing Santa Claus.
Oh my God, you're
I
so
swear
diabolical.
to God. I wrote this rap about asking for presents, not getting them, and then painting Santa's pajamas as red as his Christmas suit. Some shit like that. But then I remember walking through like the neighborhood that I was in, and there's the older kids that would be like, yo, come here. And they call me over and be like, yo, spit that fucking shit about Santa Claus. And I just rap about Santa Claus. I was like 7, 8 years old. Yeah, yo.
You're a cool kid, eh?
Yeah, I was pretty dope.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Why is every question so hard? It's like
these are the easiest
I know
ones.
they are, but they're hard for me to answer. Okay, I'll answer it though. Beige.
I think. Okay.
What you
I
say? It's
keep
not a
wiping
color.
this- I think beige is what hell is made of.
What do you like? What do you mean?
It's nice as a decorative, aesthetically pleasing. Yes, it's but it
So
shouldn't
hell
be
is
your
aesthetically
favorite color.
pleasing. Hell
Hey,
is.
Shout out to B Diddy. Anyways, we're not gonna get into this because I'm sure the beige haters, beige lovers are gonna fucking.
Yeah, you go get her. The
I
fuck?
wear a lot of beige and stuff. I like the color beige aesthetically, but it shouldn't be anyone's favorite color. Like, I like penicillin. It makes me better when I'm sick, but it's not my favorite drug.
What? But beige doesn't do anything for my fucking health.
But you know, you're a rapper. Get the fucking.
I get it. I don't know. What's another? No, fuck off. Beige is my favorite color.
What's your favorite number?
2.
Why?
I don't know.
I was just
Yeah,
calls you.
Yeah, no, I just really liked 22 when I was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you know your life path number?
That's when you do all that fucking math about your age and
Your
all that.
birth date. You add up all the numbers.
Yeah, I think it was 8. I don't remember. It was a few years
mine
ago.
was 4. Which is funny because my favorite number is 5.
Hmm.
I'm always just a bit off of everything in my life.
You'll get there.
What's your favorite food? Oh my god!
Give me
the
like,
SpongeBob thing? 10 years later.
Yeah. That's what you're gonna have to do. My favorite food. That's a tough one, cause jerk chicken is up there
so
for
good.
me, but it fucks with my heartburn. Yeah, a lot of
I have bad
heartburn from
heartburn
it.
too.
I like abgushte kubide.
Oh, abush is so good. It's a
So
Persian
good.
dish.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your blood type? This is not a question.
I don't know it.
You don't know?
No.
Because they say you said you get heartburn a lot.
Yeah.
They say people with like an O.
For some
blood
reason,
type
I
get
feel
a
like
lot
I'm
more-
O.
Yeah, I am.
Like intuitively, like I've always.
You feel
felt,
like an O to me.
felt like I feel like I'm a O still.
All right. So, okay. What's your biggest pet peeve?
It's a good question.
And just firing through them just for the sake of telling people to shut the fuck up.
Chewing with your mouth open.
I relate to that. You know what though? That's not a pet peeve. I heard it's a phobia. I heard it's like a psychological thing that some people just have. Like they can't handle it.
Don't gaslight me about my pet peeve.
No, because I'm like that too. I will literally smack the bejesus out of you if you chew with your mouth open in front of me. Or when people even gulp drinks and you can hear the... Hate that.
Yeah. What else is a pet peeve?
What's a personality pet peeve to you?
Personality pet peeves.
This is mine. Waiting for people to answer questions.
Then I will take longer.
I'm kidding.
It's just like the narcissistic tendencies that people have, where it's like I can't explain. I don't
Is
know.
it people who try to take advantage of other people?
That's just you're a piece of shit. It's not even a pet peeve. It's like those people are just pieces of shits. But
Looking down on people?
I think that is one of my pet peeves. Is like when people do try to take advantage of people, nice people, like good people,
yes.
people who are kind of just like naive. Clearly they're naive, but they're useful in a certain way. And like I feel like I'm talking about like a younger me when I say that. 'Cause I was naive and I let a lot of people use me.
I feel like everything is like that. Everything we hate is something that we see either in ourselves or something that's happened to us.
Yeah.
And everything we love is something that we also see in ourselves.
Lack of accountability. That's my pet
That's a
peeve.
good one.
Yeah, lack of accountability. When there's so much things that you can take responsibility for, but you're blaming everything else. That's
on everybody else.
that really gets to me, because I try my hardest to like take responsibility.
I think that's like one of the biggest markers of being a man, especially just speaking for a female perspective to a male perspective.
Yeah, I tend to be a man.
Like when I, it's bad for everybody but when I see a man that can't take accountability, I'm like, you're a bitch.
Yeah. It's facts.
You know?
Yeah.
Just say sorry and give me a foot massage and it'll all be over.
That's all it takes.
Huh? Okay. Next one. I can't ask you anything like crazy because you're taking too long to answer them.
Hey, maybe
Who's your favorite?
maybe the crazy ones will be easier to answer. You're asking me what my favorite color is, and I like color. I like all the colors.
Okay. What has been on your mind lately? Like most repetitive thought that you've had?
What it is I want to offer to the world.
How long has it been on your mind?
I'd say all year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I think you need to offer to the world? Is to make the shorts for my podcast.
Hey, I'll make the fucking shorts.
More on that later.
Yeah.
So, okay, what you're trying to offer the world. Have you come to any kind of solid conclusions?
Solid conclusions? No. Inklings? Yes. Like I want, because the thing is, like, we get so consumed with career and chasing dreams and making money and all these things and like building a life and all that stuff that I feel like the purpose gets lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? And like every time I'm operating with a purpose, I feel like things just kind of come together around that purpose. Right?
Yeah.
But and at the same time, you could also get scooped up in the wind while you're doing that. So, for example, to be able to explain that a little bit better, I was at the time when like all the stuff was happening in Iran with Masa Amini and all that stuff. I was like, all right, I want to actually be a YouTuber. I want to make YouTube content. I want to make multidisciplinary YouTube content, right? But I'm going to zero in on something right now. I want to spread awareness. I want to shed light on propaganda. I want to show people that the media is corrupt, right? So I started making shorts, and I put myself in a little secret challenge. I didn't tell anybody else about that. I'm gonna make a short for the next 30 days, right? And I was doing that. I wasn't posting any of them on Instagram. I was doing it all on YouTube, right? And it was going in. I was getting a couple 100,000 views on some of them and stuff like that. I was getting my subscribers up, and it was working out. And then dead smack in the middle of that endeavor, the Russell Brand contest came up. And that was perfectly in line with what I was doing. Like the thing that the contest was what I was doing on YouTube already, right? So then like I was already ready for it, and I was just shooting out these the content into the contest without even thinking anything of it. I was like, oh, whatever. And then when I was in like round 2, I was like, oh shit, okay. And then I got into round 3. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna win this, right? So then I feel like I got scooped up by that, right? Not that that's a bad thing. It's a great thing.
But it took you off.
It took me off of that path, and that path was very purposeful. Now, if you look at the things that Russell Brand was doing at the time, when I started working there, it was like exposing billionaires, exposing elites, exposing the pandemic, exposing the corruption within corporations and how they run politics and stuff like that. And that was pretty much what the fuck I was talking about, plus like the stuff that was going on in Iran, right? So it was like,
has Russell Brand ever commented on that?
What, in Iran?
Yeah,
he had Omid I always fuck his name up. Omid Jalili on.
Sounds
You
right.
know the bald fat Persian guy that's in like The Mummy?
I think
he has
so.
like a high-pitched voice. He's hilarious, raspy, high-pitched voice.
I think so.
He's a hilarious guy. He's a comedian. He had him on, and they had an entire episode about it.
Oh, that's cool.
I clipped up a bunch of stuff about it.
So then you did. That was your purpose.
And that's what I'm saying. But then like I wasn't doing it. But at the same time, because I had to make a conscious decision when I got offered the contract. I was like, okay, this is great, cool. He's a celebrity. that's not like, that doesn't really matter to me. You know what I mean? But his platform matters to me. His influence matters to me. So can I offer my talents or skills in this trade that I do to emphasize that message that he has, right? And that's when I was like, yep, it checks off. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Right? So then I worked there until I felt like the purpose shifted within myself, and I moved on.
You're a cool cat, you know that?
I know.
I really, really, really love multi-dimensional people.
Oh,
You know?
same.
Like, do what you love, even if it doesn't fit into a box. You know what I mean? Follow your heart, follow whatever, because that is its own box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I love people like that. Growing up, like, that was one thing that I was like, I'm going to be, like, I didn't know how to say this word. I learned this when I was older, but I always wanted to be polarizing. You know? I was like, I really want to be, like, and a huge thing that people don't know about me is I love tattoos, especially, like, controversial tattoos, like, places that are controversial and stuff, because I feel like, to me, it's like my personality is so different than this. This is just something aesthetic that I like, you know, and I feel like it helps me attract other people like myself and keep away people that don't really get me anyways. Cause I've intentionally made myself a very polarizing human.
Yeah. I mean, it's like what I tell every Uber driver that drives me and that doesn't know what they want to do with their life. I'm like, yo, you're in a fucking country now where you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Wait, pretend like I'm the Uber driver.
Okay. Hey, boss, so what do you do for...
Oh my God, we can't do this justice. They always do this on Bad Friends and they kill it. This is not that, guys. This is just like a Walmart version of that, okay?
Okay, so I just got in an Uber.
I'm the Uber driver.
Okay.
But I can't have an accent. That's racist.
And this is... Okay, what about a Persian accent?
Okay.
Can you do one?
Hey, Biro, how was your day?
Good. This is for Shahvar?
Yes, it's Shahvar.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, you're Persian.
Yeah.
Oh, سلام خوب هستی؟
خوبم مرسی. دوست دارم انگلیسی حرف بزنم اگه
No
okay.
problem. My English good.
اصلا نفهمیدم که لهجه داری. It's okay. I couldn't even tell.
Thank you.
So what do you do? Do you just do Ubers?
I do Ubers. Sometimes I do Lyft. You know, it's very difficult out here for immigrant. We immigrant 3 years ago. You know, it's hard nowadays.
Yeah. Did you do something back home?
Back home, I was architect. I managed buildings. I made buildings. Very, very successful back home. But does not mean anything here.
Yeah. Is that what you love to do?
It's I am older now. I have family. Think about my family. What I love. I play guitar. I sing.
Oh, you're an artist. You like to make music.
Not artist. Just like for fun.
Yeah, well, are you good at it? Do you think you're good at it?
I think I'm really good at it, but I drink a little when I play.
So why not just try it? Just like film yourself playing. Don't tell anybody. Post it on YouTube. Post it on TikTok and see what happens.
I'm not good with social media.
You don't have to be. You just have to know how to press.
Why? Are you good with social media?
Me? Not really.
So what do you do?
Me? I work at a accounting firm.
You a lawyer?
No, I'm an accountant.
What's that?
Accounting, I do accounting.
So you don't do any social media?
Yeah, I've been lying to you for the last 20 seconds. I actually do content and videography and photography.
Nice, so I play guitar, you make shorts, yeah?
That's not what I was trying to get at, but...
Nice.
Okay.
I play guitar, we drink together, you make shorts.
Actually, you can just stop right here. This is a good place for me to get out.
I put new destination, we are going to my house.
Okay. We're going to make videos at your house.
With my wife. Me, you, and my wife, we make videos together.
Fuck to Saddam. Fuck.
Wait, what was the purpose of this exercise?
I don't know, to inspire a Uber driver, but I forgot. I asked you to be a Persian one.
You
and
tried
that's
to
like,
inspire me, and instead you
I
got Diddy'd.
fucked, yeah.
Now your ass hurts.
That didn't go the way I wanted it to.
That was hilarious. That was actually, I always wondered how they did that on Bad Friends because they're so amazing at it. But that was actually really fun.
Yeah, just fucking around.
That was so fun. I should fuck around more.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to keep anything you're doing. If it's stupid, you just tell Ali to cut it out, right?
I'm not a pussy.
Not a pussy.
Put it
I
all.
like that.
You know what though? Like I try not to censor a lot of things because I feel like a traitor because it's inside out. You know, certain times I do say something where I'm
brand.
like, I don't know, I don't want to know, whatever. And then I remember I'm like, dude, I have my guests come here and tell me about their childhood trauma and this and that. I can't, you know, be a hypocrite and cut myself out.
That's true.
You know, so I try not to. But on that note, do you have any final last words for me or the audience? Wait. Before we go, do an introduction. Introduce me. I'm on your podcast. Introduce me. Because I'm so bad at introductions. I want to see how you do it. Look into the camera.
I'm also bad at introductions.
It's okay. Try it. Try it.
Yeah, try it.
I want to hear you introduce me.
Okay. Am I on the Inside Out podcast?
Yes. You're on the Sometimes Inside Out podcast.
Sometimes.
By the way,
Inside Out.
Shahvar has a podcast. It's called the Sometimes Podcast because sometimes he podcasts. So he will be doing the Sometimes Inside Out podcast.
Welcome to the Sometimes Inside Out podcast, where sometimes I podcast. I'm here with Donya, aka Mama Don, and she is a very talented artist. I ran into her form of art and self-expression on social media when she was spitting flames. And now she's making content, doing podcasts, putting people on the spot and asking them some really hard questions. I've been really enjoying what you've been doing, and I'm really happy to be here.
That was so good.
Was it?
I quit. Imagine this is the podcast where I quit.
Nah, you just
that was so much better than mine. Introductions are hard for me because the whole thing of like Inside Out is I don't care what you do.
So why don't you just fucking scrap the introduction?
But I like it. You know, I don't want it to be focused on what people do. Because I feel like when you start talking about what people do, they tap into their ego and whatever. I don't like that. I want to know who you are. So should I start saying like, this is Shahvar. He's kind. He's gentle. He's funny. He's a tender lover.
What you can also try is... what you can also do is just do the introduction after.
That's an introduction though.
No, like alone.
Oh.
Cause then you get to like, cause like this is the longest conversation we've ever had by far.
Yeah.
Right. You get to know me, and then you'll know what to introduce me as. Right.
Yeah.
But 90% of podcasts out there that have introductions.
But that feels so sad. When you leave, I come back here and I'm like, hi guys. That feels so like fake.
Okay.
You know,
that's all right.
I'm authentic, raw, no GMOs, 100% organic.
Not processed. Okay.
Yeah. But do you have any final last words? That was really good intro, by the way. Thank you.
It was?
Yeah, it was great. And you were a great guest. Thanks. You made it very, very easy on me. This is the part where you tell me I'm a good host.
You're a very good host. And honestly, I actually I've been itching to get on a podcast lately. So I'm very honored to be here. Hopefully it's not the last time. We'll get this production up.
Nope.
Figure it out.
It will not be the last time.
And yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Shahvar is going to be making my shorts moving forward. So when you guys see my shorts on Instagram, you guys know Shahvar made it.
That's why I was on this podcast to begin with. She didn't give a fuck about anything I had to say.
She just wanted to secure the bag.
Yeah.
But no, thank you so much for being here. It honestly does mean a lot to me. I know my podcast isn't quite where it needs to be right now, so it means even more that you came on.
Where does it need to be?
Not nowhere needs to be, but I know for guests at least they'd rather be on a podcast that at least has some kind of views other than my mom and my sister-in-law. You know?
For me, it doesn't matter.
But that's exactly why I'm saying I love you and I appreciate you for that.
Because if it had 100K views, you're very welcome. But if it had 100K views, I'd be here plugging in something. You know what I mean?
Do you have anything to plug in?
Nah.
Nothing to plug in yet?
Nah.
Okay. Well, I hope to have you back. I do kind of intend on having most of my guests come back whenever they'd like. If you guys liked or related to anything that Shahvar had to say, he's on Instagram. You can follow him. What's your handle? P.
Shahvar. Shahvar. It's right here.
Is it gonna be right
I
there?
don't know. I'm gonna get
Somebody else edits my videos.
I'm gonna get Ali to do it. Ali, put it right here.
Ali, put it right there.
P. Shahvar. Does it go this way? No, wait. It's a P. Shahvar. Hold on. I want to write it backwards. And then
Bro, what kind of editing skills do you think this man possesses?
I'm just kidding.
You know your Hollywood. Why did I say that so personal? Your
Hollywood.
Your Hollywood video on Instagram where you take the Hollywood sign. You want Ali to do that with your name
exactly.
the whole time you're talking. It's just in your hand.
Do it, bro.
But yeah, follow him on
Philip.
The Persian accent got me.
Yeah, I got you. You're locked in.
Follow him on Instagram so you guys can see any new projects he has coming on and what he's working on. He's also a really dope person. Amazing friend also. I didn't really know you that much, but you came and helped me a lot with my setup and everything today as well. So I appreciate you. I appreciate this interview. It wasn't really even an interview. It was so fun. And yeah, thank you.
Same.
Love you.
Peace.
Bye, guys. Until next time.